This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 4, streaming live on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on?
What's going on?
It is best shape of my life season. It's put on 10 pounds of muscle season. It's dropped 10 pounds. All the young rookies are saying all the right things. It's going to happen for another month.
The best.
It's that time of year. I've just trained harder and took it more serious than ever. It's that season, man. It's season.
We heard it yesterday. Didn't Austin Matthews say, put on some weight, a little stronger, feeling good? Like that is the tagline for everybody. Unless you're Phil Kessel. Remember Phil Kessel's like, yeah, I skated 5 times.
Which I love.
Like
I love
5 times.
Because at least he was being honest, right? Because, you're right. Everyone's in the greatest shape they've ever been in their whole lives. They've never felt better.
New levels.
Ever. You know what I like today? This I appreciate. Easton Cowan saying that he's creeping towards 6 feet tall. He's 5'11 and a half, right? Like, only if you're under 6, every half inch counts, right? No one's 6'1 and a half. Nobody.
Yeah. No.
But 5'11 and a half? Yes. Mark that down.
That's what I am now. I used to be 6 feet, and I'm shrinking.
You're shrinking?
Yes, I'm shrinking. The older you get, and I'm hunchback anyways, like I'm shrinking. But I used to be 6 feet, and now I'm under 6 feet. Easton Count, how old is he? 19 or 20? 19?
Yeah, 19 or 20.
Do you grow an inch?
No, he's not. There's no way. I don't think
done.
so. I mean, that seems late. I'll take it. That's fine. I'm not disputing a 5'11 and a half. I'm just saying, just give him 6.
Let's round up to 6.
Just,
but what happens
just write down 6 if it means that much to him.
Write
give him
down
6 feet.
6. But what happens is maybe 5'11 and a half is a little bit rich. Maybe he's 5'11 and a quarter.
Wow. The guy taking the measurements
right.
when he says, "Oh, you're 5'11 and a half," you literally want to kick him right in the junk and say, "Really, bud?" Like.
Yeah,
because everyone's just dying for the 6. Like you don't want any part of a 5, and you're just when you get that close. I actually think the guy said for me, 5'11.75.
Yeah,
I wanted to turn around, and it's like you can't afford to just give me the 6.
Now,
like a 6.
Don't take this the wrong way, but did you have to pick which? Because when you went to the weight, where you're like, dude. Wait a minute, go the other. Like, did you have to pick a fight and say, fine, I'll take the 5'11 and 3/4, but don't go over 200.
Don't you put a 2?
Don't put a 2 on the board going the other way if you're not supposed to be over 2.
Dude, for the weight for years, I didn't even do it. I was like, it's 191. It's 191.
Take my word for it.
Then you get to that 1 year where it's like you actually get on it and it says 206. Then everything gets different.
Yeah. That's a 15 spot.
That's an email
like,
all through the organization.
That's a little different. Like if I get it. Like I played at 196, 200 in that range, right? But if I came in at 215, like that's just a lot different. You feel a lot different. You look a lot different. That's years over the years. But like a 3 or 4 spot, that's a big moose in the morning. That's something. That's 15. You can't hide that.
15 you can't hide. 15 is different clothing. 15 is like, ooh, you show up at the golf tournament, you're hanging over a putt, and it's bad. There's a boiler, basically. Yeah. But I think 190 seems to be the new number in hockey. Yeah. Like, I remember when I was a kid, and you guys were in the NHL by this point, like, everyone wanted to be 220, 230, especially defensemen. If you were big, 6'3", 6'4", give me 240. It was great.
Yeah. Beefier the better.
Beefier the better, absolutely. And different game. It was played differently. It was slower, clutch and grab, much more physical. But 190 appears to be the number because Easton Cowan, again, came in, said 190, 5'11 and a half. And I read this week that Elias Pettersson is up to 190, which is big considering he's been in the league for almost a decade. You'd think if that was an important number for him to reach, he would have got there like 5 years ago.
I wouldn't be shocked if he was clipping around at 175 or something. He does not look like a big human.
No,
probably.
That's why 190 will look different on him. He is not a big guy, Pedersen.
No. Yeah, you put 10 pounds of muscle on a thin frame, it looks good. It looks different. It's just how are you going to be able to play? Like, you can speak to it. Skating, strength, maybe confidence of handling physicality in the corner, that type of stuff. Like, if a guy comes in and he's put on 10 pounds of beef, like of weight, a lot of times, as long as it doesn't come with a cost of like your speed or your release points or anything like that.
Well, it does have a direct correlation because when Lavi, you guys know when Lavi got to Carolina, he was like, O-Dog, every day after practice, you're putting in 40. You can do it whenever you want, but you're putting in 45 minutes of cardio on the treadmill or the elliptical. And you drop 10 and your pace goes way up. Mm-hmm. Like pounds, pace, like there's a direct connection there.
Absolutely. Like it's got to be muscle, right? Like there's a difference between. It's
very simple. You're moving around a lighter machine.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll see. Everyone's feeling great. Every team has never looked better, right? Everyone's in first place, right?
Yeah.
Technically, everyone in the NHL and the NBA, everyone's in first place. So it's all good.
What if you had somebody in management? Like, there is always maybe, I don't know, it might not be in today's day, but it used to be 3 or 4 guys, maybe that's a stretch, but at least 2 or 3 showed up a little beefy, and you're like, oh, that guy didn't do that much in the summer. Like, I don't think that's the case nowadays. But what if Jimmy Rutherford, if he had a guy that showed up, he would say something, right? Like, he's a pretty straight shooter.
Aren't we forgetting something?
What?
Didn't they gas the fitness tests altogether?
Yeah, I think that's the next CBA. So I think it kicks in next year. I could be wrong. It may be implemented this year, but the new CBA kicks in next year, and that is definitely true. There is no more fitness testing.
Yeah, I know some peeps that are very upset about that, not players.
Right. But listen, the coaches are going to find a way around that with bag skates and they're going to skate into the ground and see
I'll
who's
tell
in
you
shape.
one thing, guys, the bag skates, like there's evidence right now of why they should just start the season early. Everyone is doing training camp right now.
Right, everyone's in town.
They've made a point, the GMs and the players are like on the same page. And they basically say, come in early, get the work done, get the sweat out, and then come training camp or just do system stuff, and we'll have a couple exhibition games and we're ready to go.
You're right.
Yeah.
They could play tonight.
They
could play a game tonight. Be fun.
They could.
They could 100% do that.
I agree. You do want to speed up that process. I think that is going to be in the next CBA to get it, moved to Pierre LeBrun was talking about when they moved to 84 games. But I don't know. I think I've always felt my training like, the minute it turned the clock on September, you're ready to go. Like you're ready to roll, and let's get at it instead of wasting 2 weeks in September and then kind of bleeding yourself into the regular season and preseason. I think guys are ready now. It's just the other thing you talk about fitness, Hayes, is they track guys wear heart monitors in practice now. Like they track like the speed of players, what they're doing in practice, like. There's no hiding. If you're out of shape and dogging it, coaches, strength people know that. I'm telling you, I've seen practices where guys they're monitored.
I wish we could go back in a time machine, to 1987.
Monitor Doug Gilmour after a big night.
Dougie Gilmour in 1989 or something, and just strap on something on Dougie and just say, what's going on with you? Ed Belfour, back in the 90s. What's up with him? He hasn't moved much. Can you check his numbers?
Dude, those old school 80s practices, they're like if you put a breathalyzer before guys went on the ice, I bet you 80% of the guys would blow over.
That would be great if there was that was a part of the CBA. Breathalyzers before practice.
Yeah, the trainer, before you step on the ice, will have a breathalyzer. Please blow into it.
There's 4 guys on the ice. 3 of them are rookies.
They didn't pass the test. Like, you don't get on the ice. Sorry, guys. Back in the room, there's like 18 out of 22 guys sitting in the room going, he's a little late night there.
Drinking beers in the room during practice.
I swear, I don't want to – you might have to reach out to him. I remember Stumpy Thomas telling me a story where guys had like darts and like a coffee, and would like skate around with their gear on, and then it's like the whistle went. It's like put the coffee down, like the dart, whatever you name it, and then start skating.
Yeah,
like
the Gardens, like the Leafs back in the day. Is that what you're saying when Stumpy broke in? I've heard those stories.
Now, what was it? St. Mike's? What was the team below? Was St. Catharines?
Well, it was the Marlies.
Yeah, the Marlies.
Forever. Yeah, the Marlies forever. And they would usually share the Gardens. Like a lot of times they would have a matinee game. The Leafs would play at night. That would probably be what you're talking about. A veteran would be sent down there, and he's like, I'm not working out anymore.
I remember him saying, like, I can't remember, it was Dave Farish or something, but like be skating around with a coffee. No gloves on or anything, just with a coffee, warming up, and then.
Can you imagine Jonas covering that, like on Twitter? Dave like if live tweeting practice. Ferris is out there with a coffee and a
practice is underway. Ferris just butted out his heater in his coffee, and we're good to go.
It made a D-to-D pass in the outlet.
Yeah. A lot of energy down here.
A Twitter vid of the dart going into the coffee.
Well, I
go time. Hashtag go time.
Now they're ready to practice.
Yes, I don't want to speak out of turn.
Send
a
note to Stumpy. Send him a text. See if he can corroborate that story.
For sure. It was like coffee.
He did last year. He heard us, and he said it was in St. Catharines, I think, though. It wasn't in Toronto.
Okay. So that makes it better. That was in St. Catharines. Yeah, they may have had a minor. Maybe they had a ECHL team there or something. I don't know. I remember Newmarket, they had a team. Newmarket for sure they used to. That's where Ralphie played at one point.
Oh, yeah, the Newmarket Saints.
Yeah. They were their affiliate Saints for a long time.
I guarantee you Ralphie could tell a story about that.
I'll bet you Ralphie's done that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ralphie, 1982, 83, pads on, no helmet.
Yeah,
just
dart
and a coffee. Just getting ready.
Yeah. Walking, I guarantee you, walking out to the ice, there probably was a dart involved.
Yeah.
And then not on the ice, because that would be disrespectful.
Well, that would be uncalled for. Yeah. That would be unprofessional to do that. Anyway, we got Stan Bowman coming up in 20 minutes, so we'll address the elephant in the country with Stan.
Well, he knows he's going to get
asked. Of course, that's why he's coming on. I think we've been talking about it nonstop. Like, we'll ask him what's going on with McDavid and the other moves they've made throughout the offseason. So we'll catch up with Stan in 20. We got Luke in studio at 5. We got Packers Commanders tonight. Man, it comes quick in the NFL.
Yeah,
like we're already in week 2. And what a game it's going to be. Under the lights at Lambeau, Jaden Daniels. Al's brother sent me a note today. Said Washington has not won at Lambeau since 1986. So
makes your selection easy.
Yeah, we're leaning one way. We'll tell you which way we're leaning in about an hour.
I know you're leaning Green Bay.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, the spread's 3.5. FanDuel's got it at 3.5. I'm a bit surprised it hasn't moved. I think it opened at 3.5 and it remains at 3.5. So the Jays are in action. Last night I'm not going to get into the Hoffman stuff. I can't watch this guy get just demolished every single night the rest of the month and into October. Because he doesn't just get hit. He gets hammered when he gets hit. Like, that was a no-doubter off the bat.
Yeah. Liftoff.
Yeah, 15 home runs he's given up, 13 in the 9th inning or later, which he's had 65 appearances or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, every third or fourth time he's on the mound, there's balls being hit to Newmarket.
To the moon.
Yeah, it's just crazy
I thought they were going to win,
bad he is in these situations.
I thought they were going to win. I was like, here they go again.
Carbon copy the night before Noodles.
Exactly.
Battle back, show a lot of life. Hoffman goes out there, high leverage. Boom.
Yeah.
So deflating. Deflating. But that's the story of the year. And, it's not going to change. Savage isn't going to come up and change anything. Maybe he performs, maybe he doesn't. I don't even know if he can play in the playoffs. I think they have to try to cross some T's and dot some I's for that to even be an option. But that's desperation. If you're waiting for a guy who's never been in the major leagues to be your savior in the bullpen, desperate times.
Really desperate.
So it's disappointing. But if they can get a win today, then you take 2 out of 3 out of Houston. The Yankees got rocked again last night.
Still in the driver's seat then.
Still in the driver's seat.
Only positive from last night, everybody lost.
Exactly.
Yes, and
everyone lost. Yeah. Everyone lost. But Yankees lost, so it's all good.
But the Yankees lost, not 3-2. They got ran out of their own, smoked
twice
again.
Yeah. Tigers have gone in there and absolutely demolished them.
Yeah.
Back-to-back games. Their bullpen stinks.
Yeah.
So listen, everyone's going through it. Everyone's going through it. The Jays, again, they're still in the driver's seat. We're joking, but it's a reality. They're still in the driver's seat, and with every night that you cross off, you get that much closer to securing the AL East and a top 2 spot in the American League. So we'll be tracking that. We'll get into it later this afternoon. Luke in studio at 5. Adam Silver with some comments that have, I would say, led to a pretty significant reaction. We'll play it. We'll get into it. And there's another Pablo Torre, Kawhi Leonard smoking gun report that came out this morning. This story just will not come to an end.
Yeah.
We'll play that, and we'll get into it as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Sunday, Week 2 in the NFL continues as the Dallas Cowboys face off against the New York Giants. A Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and Chiefs. Plus, the Sunday Nighter between the Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Luke Wilson in studio at 5. Stan Bowman, GM of the Oilers, in 10 minutes. Pablo Torre has played this brilliantly because he's in the modern media world where he's trying to get clicks, he's trying to get people to download, he's trying to drag this story out. And he had the bombshell Kawhi Leonard aspiration, payments for doing nothing news story about a week ago. Now he's got another smoking gun that apparently aspiration was late on paying Kawhi around $2 million, $1.75 million, and then all of a sudden a minority owner from the Clippers dumped $2 million into aspiration, and sure enough, Kawhi got paid. And this one is way more obvious, in my opinion, than the original one, that Kawhi was waiting for a payment. He was getting bothered. Uncle Dennis was saying, "What the hell's going on here?"
Imagine getting bothered, though. That's just the incredible element here. This is all for doing nothing, and you're furious that the payment's a little bit late.
Well, here's to add to it. To add to it. Let me add to this quickly before you finish your thought. Okay, Hoops on Twitter. Okay, a basketball Twitter account tweeted out earlier today. In 2022. Kawhi Leonard played in just 26% of games due to, quote, right knee stiffness before the reported $1.75 million delayed payment was made. The day after it was reportedly deposited, Leonard went on to play in 82% of the games the rest of the way. So now people are thinking this guy was basically saying, allegedly, I'm not playing. Like, you owe me $2 million. My knee's acting up. Oh, there's the $2 million. All right, I'm ready. Let's play. If that's true,
with $300 probably already in the bank,
with so much money already,
there's no integrity in that. If that's true,
if it's true, and again, it could be a coincidence. Kawhi's not going to say anything. Kawhi's not going to go on the defensive here. He's not going to do the rounds and sit down with NBC or ESPN or Jim Gray or something. But that's a pretty significant coincidence, and I think ultimately, what this leads me to believe is that the Raptors, it's a miracle they got what they got out of him, and they're so lucky that he just left town.
They dodged
a massive bullet with Kawhi.
Yeah, exactly.
They got a championship because of him. He was phenomenal. He needed them, right? Put him in a platform where he could play and play well and make sure the Clippers were going to do anything to get him.
Yep.
Raptors supplied him that opportunity. He pulled his weight. He was unbelievable that year. There's no taking anything away from Kawhi Leonard in 2018, 2019. But everything since then has been an absolute disaster for his career, his legacy, outside of his bank account.
Yeah. Was there any time where he played well for the Clippers and really brought,
there's been spurts,
spotty
pockets, right? But
it's been spotty.
Yeah. Like, Ballmer must be so disappointed in that. He dumped a bunch of money and – got the player.
Well, no kidding, Jamie. If you're winning championships and it's like Steph Curry, you're like, you know what? Get this guy his money. Like, drive to his house and get him the money.
Exactly.
But when he's performing like that and the team is just in the gutter, you're like, really, man? You got to complain and act like this for the money? Get serious.
Well, and they've re-upped him since all this kind of stuff. That's how desperate they've been. That's how desperate they've been to get a healthy Kawhi. And when he plays, he can still be a great player.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that would infuriate you if you felt like he wasn't playing or wasn't giving you everything until he got every last dollar. Then he's going.
That's sad.
That is. If that, again, maybe it's a coincidence. It very well could be. But if it's not, that's a bad look, man. How do you, what about your teammates?
Right.
When they look at that and know that and be like, are you playing? Are you not playing? You make way more than me. You make way more than anybody else. And just never seems to bring it in LA. But
yeah,
with every news story that comes out, I just look back and say it's a miracle they got what they got out of them in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it was great, and it could only be a year. And that's all it was. It's never going to be more.
You take the year and you move on. You got your championship, and it is what it is. Like I say, if you were ended up stuck with this guy and he was pulling that nonsense up here, people would run him out of town. I think the biggest thing is integrity.
Maybe it's the only way you get the best out of that guy. If you just stick him up in Toronto for a year and there's no room for saying, give me the money or negotiations, and it's like you just got to play basketball and give him the ball when you got to score points, and you might get a championship out of it. And it worked out perfectly.
It worked out perfectly.
They should have just watched as soon as they saw what was going on in the negotiations, they should have just said, that's enough, thanks anyway.
Right.
Wow,
Which effectively is
the
what
guy wants a
happening.
Chunk of the Leafs?
Yeah.
As soon as he said those words, a chunk of the Leafs, it's just just go back on the
why stop
bird.
there? How about the CN Tower?
Yeah.
I want some of the CN Tower.
Yeah.
I'd like that. And Casa Loma, I like that place.
Steam Whistle Brewery.
I'll take Steam Whistle. Take a piece of Steam Whistle.
Yeah, just a piece.
Right.
But I think, though, when you win a championship, this is the part that is kind of sad. It's like, don't you want to chase that with the group that you just won with? Don't you think it's infectious and go, geez, we got the same team. We can go back at this. Let's make this work. He was the other way. It's yeah, championship, see you later.
Got it.
Now, he'd won
They
one
maybe could have
before,
picked
right?
one more off, too.
Right.
For sure, they could have.
They could have.
If he was healthy and committed. Now, COVID messed up everything. It was in a bubble. It was a totally different experience. But they were still really good. The next year without him, they were still second in the East. They had the second or third best record in the NBA when COVID hit in March of 2020. That's how good they were. So they absolutely could have. But this would just suggest to me it was a perfect storm. It worked out beautifully for the Raptors. Be thankful it happened. And just see you later. Clippers can deal with it. All right, let's play this Adam Silver clip from today. He's taken a lot of heat for this. And as a commissioner, when he first got the job for David Stern, he was beloved. And everyone thought, wow, he's so progressive, and this guy's amazing, and he's got a totally different viewpoint on how to be a commissioner. And now he just gets hammered all the time. And he was asked about, how difficult it is for the average NBA fan to follow everything, because you need cable, you need subscriptions, you need YouTube, you need Prime, you need, everything in order to watch all these games because they're so spread out in the NBA. Here's his reaction to that.
Huge amount of our content that people can essentially consume for free. I mean, this is very much a highlights-based sport, so, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service, the New York Times for that matter, to the extent that your content is not behind a paid firewall. There's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, by another example, that is advertising based that consumers can consume.
So what do you guys make of that? Where it's a highlight league, it's a highlight-driven sport and league, and
I think that's stating the obvious. Nobody wants to see neutral zone play when they click on McDavid. They want to see McDavid splitting the ice and going up the middle and scoring. I think it was kind of, I don't know, it's stating the obvious, isn't it? Every sports league, as far as the people wanting the content, they don't want neutral zone play or passing it around. They want the highlight stuff.
They do. Nowadays, it's how people consume their information, right? Listen, we're on YouTube. Now we've transitioned. There's lots of different way that people consume or watch their content. And a lot of times it's show me the highlights, show me the condensed game, show me this and that. He's probably saying, if you don't want to do a streaming service or pay, paywall, then you can get a lot of this stuff, free content on some of the platforms that we are affiliated with. I get it, but it's also, I think your traditional fan that goes, hey, I'm paying for the NBA package here. Like, what are you talking? I'm paying $150 for the NBA package so I can watch all the games on my cable service. They feel like they're slighted because, you know, you're circumventing that by going with other platforms.
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to the point of view, you know, where you're coming from. Diehard NBA fans who love their team that want to watch 82 games, this is a shot at them. Yeah. You know, this is, well, that's your problem. You know, hey, that's your problem. You can't find it or you don't have the money. That's your issue. And that's a shot, and I could understand why you'd be disappointed in that. I don't think this helps a comment like this or a viewpoint like this from the commissioner when they have a crisis on their hands that the regular season doesn't matter in the NBA, that, you know, players don't play all the time. Like, that's kind of the reputation that it's whatever happens, happens. And this is kind of, I think, pushing that even further down the road. Well, just watch the highlights. Okay. Like, why would I be invested then? I'll just check out the box score and see a couple of dunks and a couple of three-point plays, a block at the rim. And you're telling me that's enough for me to be invested as an NBA fan? I don't think that's helpful. But I agree with your guys', you know, assessment of the way a lot of people are viewing the world now, you know, and especially younger people. And I think there's this, like, hyper focus on young people naturally because that's the next wave of business, right?
They don't want to put in the 3 hours in a game.
They're generally not watching anyway. And I think Silver basically just said the quiet part out loud, that they're aware of that. But if you're a TV network, you're probably like, seriously, dude? We just paid you $7 billion or what, and you're saying just pick up some highlights on TikTok?
That's a great point. Somebody that just forked over that cash? Come on.
I could see there being some pushback from some TV executives on a comment like that.
For sure, because that's their partnership, and you're right. They just signed a huge contract to be in bed with them and, you know, paying for those rights, and you're pushing them to free services or to, you know, the things that you can download and watch and watch the highlights for free. Like, that's not the right way for a commissioner. I guarantee you he got a phone call from somebody going, you know, what are you doing here?
Yes.
You shouldn't be directing the fans
to the free stuff.
You should be directing them to what we have as a partnership.
Why we paid this much money.
And that's why you're able to pay these athletes $44, $50 million a year is because of that deal that they've signed, and
Absolutely.
a lot of it. So I can see why there'd be some blowback from a business standpoint. From the fan standpoint, they're like, yeah, I'll watch that. I'll watch that highlight. There's so many different situations out there where you can consume some of it, some of the game, or the highlights instantaneous. You can go on X. You can go out and all these things where you see, you know, the best part of the game. You don't get everything, though. That's the difference.
Again, it comes down to what you're trying to sell as a league at this point. All right, Luke Wilson in half an hour. Here's the GM of the Edmonton Oilers, Stan Bowman. How you doing, Stan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing well. Thank you for joining us. We might as well get right at it. The elephant in the country, we've been calling it. Not just the elephant in the room or the elephant in the market. That would, of course, be Connor McDavid and his contractual status. Why are we at this point? Or can you give us kind of a timeline as to why we're still in a position here where camp's almost opening up and Connor's got another year left on his deal, but as of now he has not signed an extension with you guys?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, Connor's been pretty open about his thoughts, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think there's really no secrets, or there's not any more to the story other than he's just taking his time, and we respect that. We understand. I mean, you know, I think he's obviously the best player in the game, and we love having him here, and he's our captain and our leader, and you know, we're excited about that, excited about this season, and you know, I think he's just working through things on his own, and we kind of understand that. So we'll be patient, but he knows that we love having him here, and we want him to remain in Edmonton, and you know, that's kind of the process that we're going through right now.
If it got to a point where he decided he wanted to leave Edmonton, would you expect him to give you guys a heads up on that decision?
You know, I don't like talking about hypotheticals. Like, I get the question, but I don't think there's value. There's a million different what-ifs that people could throw our way, and I think that's not really a productive discussion. So, you know, I love having him on our team here. I know he's dedicated, and just to quote what he said, there's nothing he wants more than to win the Cup in Edmonton. So I think that's kind of what we're all focused on right now, heading into next week and looking forward to seeing camp start up.
Stan, do you have any idea, kind of like we're getting close to training camp, what he's waiting to see or kind of get to a point to make a decision? Do you have any idea what that is?
No, once again, I don't want to speculate on. I think it's best to just let Connor answer those questions. I don't want to. I've had conversations with him, but that's really stuff that he and I talk about. Speculating what is on his mind is not really the position that I want to take at this point.
Yeah, last one for me, Stan, before we get into your team and everything else. The one thing that Connor has said openly is he doesn't want this to be a distraction, even though you've got a mature team and it's a scenario where guys should be able to handle the pressure of it. At what point, if we're all talking about it daily, there's words that we're hanging on. The other day he said 3 years, 4 years, 7 years, or no term type of thing, and all of a sudden everybody gravitates to that. Is it a scenario where there is a fine line between this being a business and the best player in the world trying to sort out a situation and potentially it becoming a distraction for your group that might have to be dealt with in the future?
Yeah, well, I think you raise a good point, which is we live in 2025 where these things are talked about all the time. I think, maybe 30 years ago, the media interactions with the players and the fans was different. But now that we're in the age of social media and everything gets talked about every day, I think you're right. There's going to be questions. And, I know that. I'm sure Connor's aware of that, too. And I think we do want to focus on the season. There's a lot of exciting things to look forward to for this year. So it's a fair question, and I don't want it to be a distraction either. And I know Connor indicated he doesn't. So, but we don't control what people talk about, and I understand the interest level of the fans and the media. So that's something that I think is just going to kind of play out over the next little bit here, and we'll just have to take with what comes our way.
With Stan Bowman, the GM of the Edmonton Oilers, like you said, he's hyper-focused on winning a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl, would say the same thing. Darnell Nurse, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. There's been a lot of players that have been there for a long time. You guys have been to back-to-back Cup finals. How does that permeate the front office? Where the players are clearly, they're putting an emphasis on it. They're not shying away from it. Like, they want to win. They think they can win. They're putting pressure on themselves. Do you feel, different about chasing a cup today compared to 2 years ago? Is there more pressure because of the missed opportunities the past 2 years? How do you compare and contrast your viewpoint of building this team even compared to the last year or two?
Well, I would say we're all on the same page there. We're focused on winning. That's I think that's the reason that you get into the sport is you're competitive. I think if not, then it's probably not the right industry for you. So yeah, I'm incredibly motivated. I'm fortunate to know what that feeling is like to reach to the top of the mountain. And I know that there's no other feeling like that. So once you experience winning, it's like an addictive thing. You just want to get back to that. You want to get back to that feeling where you put all your effort into something and, when things come together, those are the best moments of your career. So that's always been our focus too. So I don't think there's nothing changes from that perspective. We're aligned perfectly on that. And I think I would say that the focus, though, especially as we're on at the eve of training camp here, it's really more the process. Like, I think when you focus on the result, that's probably not the best way to look at it. You got to, at the end of the day, you got to put yourself in a position where you have a chance to win. And so you take the focus off of just, game 6 or game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, because you can't really do a lot about that in September. But what you can do is you can focus on the process of putting your team in a position, both, building it with players and a roster and a coaching staff, so that it's possible that you could be in that position, months from now where you have a chance. And for the players, they're focused on, just getting off to a good, simple things, which you've heard many times before, but that's really the way this works. Like, if you just sit there and try to think of what you need to do to win the last game of the season and be the Stanley Cup champion, you're probably not going to reach that level because you're focused on the wrong things. So what we're looking at right now is the process. We want to put ourselves in the position so that there's a lot of good teams out there. I mean, that's the reality of the sport, and really not just our sport, but every sport. Each year, I think there's a group of teams that walk into a season with a realistic chance to be the champions. And then what happens over the next, 9 months is going to ultimately reveal who the champion is. So, we're starting next week with camp, and we're focused on the process of doing the right things so that we'll be in a good position come the springtime.
Stan, you talked about the process. You have a little bit different, I guess, look around the spine of the team. So you go and get Howard. You've got a kid, Savoy, that might push through. I think you signed Tomasek. You've got some players that, aren't household names yet, but is the thought process to get a little bit younger, maybe try and allow some of these younger guys to push through and maybe replace some of the players that you lost last year, or just have a different look around some of the older players that have left?
Yes, I would say that's a great observation, and that has been a focus for our team. We were more of an experienced veteran team last year, and we still are. I mean, it's not like we changed a lot of players out, but I'm pretty excited to see how some of these new players come in and give our team a little bit of a different look. And I think the biggest thing you're excited about with younger players is the potential for them to grow throughout the course of the season. Like, I don't have expectations that they're going to be, elite right out of the gate first game of the year, because it's a tough league, and they've been really, really good players at lower levels, whether it was junior or college or the American League. In the case of Savoy, he was a really good player in Bakersfield last year, and he got just a brief introduction to the NHL. So I think it's exciting to see that we're going to have to work with them and be patient, but also help them come along so that they can add something to the mix. And I think, it's probably something we didn't have last year. Like, we didn't see a lot of growth from within. So, like, the players who were good in November were good again in April. But I've always been a believer that for your team to really, take that next step, you need to have some internal progression and growth. And you can certainly supplement that by adding new players down the stretch, and that's something we're going to be focused on as well. But you don't want that to be your only way of getting better. You'd like to see some growth from within your team. And I think the players you mentioned, in addition to David Tomasek, is a player he's not a young guy because he's played a lot in Europe, but I think he's new to the NHL. So I think he's going to be able to show hopefully some growth as well, and take on a role and increase that as we go along. So, we have a lot of stability with our defense. I think that's it's in a really good place looking at our team last year, and we've got everybody coming back, and I expect that to be a strength of our team, and, trying to work some of these new players in and see how they can take steps, not just to make the team, but also to push forward and take bigger role as the year progresses.
With Stan Bowman, the GM of the Oilers. So as much as we have talked about McDavid and Draisaitl on this show, I would say we've talked about your goaltending as much, if not more, over the last couple of years. And as of today, it's still Skinner and Pickard. You're the two guys that have been your starters for the last couple of years, or your tandem goalies the last couple of years. Take us through the offseason in terms of how we got here, Stan, and why do you still have faith in those two guys as your tandem goalies?
Well, I think we did make a change with the goalie coach, and I think that sometimes change is good, and I think a little bit of a different perspective maybe can unlock certain guys. And I think in our case, we're we're very optimistic that Stewart's going to be able to take that next step. I mean, he's still a pretty young goalie. Like, as far as the league goes, he's kind of just coming into the prime years of his career. And he's shown that he certainly has the capability to make big saves and win big games for us. And I think what we're trying to do is maybe bring out the consistency in his game a little bit more. I think his best game is excellent. I mean, we saw that in the playoffs last year. So really, how can we work with the strengths that he has and to get the consistency to his game? And I think, it's early here. I've just had a chance to talk to Stu the last few days as they're doing their captain skates, and I was really excited to hear sort of his outlook on this upcoming season. And he seems to really have a good relationship with our new goalie coach, and there seems to be a lot of good things happening, not just the way that he approaches the game technically, but his mental outlook on things. And so I'd like to see how that goes. And we know that Pickard has had a great run as he's a battler. He finds a way, and I think that's what you saw last season was, he came in some tough moments and was able to push through and be successful and give our team a boost. So, we're hopeful that can be the case. And we want to see how that looks with things over the next little bit here. And, I understand that there's a lot of attention on the goaltending position, not just for the Oilers, but around the league. And that's partly the way our sport is. Like, you get a lot of attention when you're the last line of defense, and they probably get too much credit and too much criticism just in general, that position, because the spotlight is on you. So as a result, you have to have some resiliency, and I think Stewart has shown that, and the same thing with Calvin. So we're hopeful that they can get off to a good start here.
Stan, Leon got married in the summer, and there was a picture that surfaced, and he had a dart going. Is that a closed-door meeting, or does he get a hall pass for the dart at the wedding? Because I know if a fourth-line stiff had that pic float around, you'd have a conversation with him. But does Draisaitl get a hall pass or what?
Yeah, I think Leon's going to be just fine in that department.
Okay.
He's I was happy to see he had a great summer, and I know I've heard a lot about that. They had a great time together as a team at his wedding, and he's a tremendous player and a great guy, a great leader, and we're very fortunate to have Leon here on our side.
Dog, keep in mind, Stan's been around the game a long time. He's seen guys show up with cigarettes to the rink. That's back in the 80s and the 70s, all of that type of stuff. So it's just a different generation now.
There you go.
Good.
There you go.
Thanks, Stan.
Mode. Off-season mode. Thanks, Stan. Good luck with camps opening up. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Stan
Bowman, GM of the Oilers. I guess they had a good time over there in Paris. I think Leon was getting married in Paris. And I think they did the bachelor party in Spain, like Ibiza or whatever. And that's a trip, man. Yeah. That's a trip. All right, Luke Wilson coming up in 15 minutes. Best bet still to come as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Tonight, Week 2 in the NFL kicks off as Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders take on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Just watch me dance.
All right, Luke Wilson in about 10 minutes. Best Bets powered by FanDuel coming up a little bit later on. Tracking the Jays, Gosman doing it again, man. Like, we keep going back and forth. Who's going to be that game one starter? The way he's been pitching post All-Star break, I don't know how you move off Gosman, but it feels like Bieber, Gosman for sure, Scherzer if he's healthy. So more on that into the next hour. Got some breaking news that's just coming in here. Chris Johnston, our TSN Hockey Insider, and others, reporting that the NHL, according to sources, the NHL will permit Carter Hart, Michael McLeod, Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, and Alex Formanton to resume playing in the NHL on December 1st. And I guess they can sign with teams as of October 15th following their acquittal on all sexual assault charges. So I guess that's a built-in suspension to an extent if they can't start playing until December 1st.
Yeah, there's not much else to comment on it. That's what the league's decided to do, and they can play December 1st. And if you want to sign them, you can inquire on October 15th.
Yeah. And I would presume, again, I don't know. We're on the air, so I can't read these articles. I would presume the PA has allowed it too. Like I would guess that they've signed off on that fine. That's the penalty, and this is the way it's going to go. So I don't think all 5 players are going to return to the NHL, but a few of them will.
I think a few will, but keep in mind these guys missed a lot of hockey. Like they haven't played for a long time because they were technically suspended or taken out of the league while this was going on. So it's been a long process. It'll take them a long time to get back into the swing of things. And, I do believe in talking to people around the league. There is some interest. But, again, you got to go through the process. So it looks like the process is sorted out from a league standpoint. Now that it's up to the players to see what they're going to do and if teams are interested in signing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see where this goes. Luke Wilson coming up on Packers Commanders tonight. Speaking of Washington, I saw something about what the Capitals plan on doing this year, which has got my radar going on Ovechkin and what his plan is for the future. I'll tell you about that. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm Pablo Torre. That's who I am. I'm sniffing things out. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. Got our best bets later in the hour. Got a big Thursday nighter. Week 2 starting with a bang under the lights at Lambeau Field. Packers, Commanders. We'll get to Luke in a few moments. And the Washington sports scene is alive and well, obviously, with the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. But I saw this story yesterday, I believe. Front Office Sports has reported that the Capitals, for each home game this year, are going to use physical ticket stubs, old school ticket stubs, which I love. I miss those. And I'm going Pablo Torre. This is my report. Okay, I'm reporting this. Yeah. Noodles, you can corroborate if you choose to. This is a sign Ovi's done. This is his last year. I
think he plays one in the KHL or something.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. But who cares about that? Once he's over there, no one's paying attention. I'm saying in the
what
NHL,
are they going to do? Everything is electronic now. Are they going to, just ship out these tickets, or they get them out the gate, or, in the seats? What is it?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing you can still get in with your Apple Wallet or your Ticketmaster account or whatever it is. It's just probably to commemorate, I was there. Because remember the email went out? Remember someone from marketing emailed out, Ovi's last year, you got to come see it. And they're like, oh, sorry about that. That shouldn't have been sent out. I think he beat Gretzky last year, so he's done it. He's hit 900 goals, and this is it. Yep. Ovi's going to play one more year, and he's gone. And you're right, he'll probably go back to Russia and play, but this is probably the swan song for the greatest goal scorer of all time.
Somebody posted a video of him the other day, and he was doing, down and backs, and they chirped him because he was stopping 5 feet short of the line every time. He was just like, this is all you're getting from me.
Right.
Yeah.
Cheating on a bag skate. What's anyone going to do to him?
No kidding. Exactly. The fact he was even out there is a miracle.
Well, it's probably his first time on the ice. He's got probably a little fill.
I don't think Ovi was the originator of the captain's skate.
No,
I don't think so.
I think this is his last year, and they send those out. You remember the old tickets? They send them out in a book.
Right.
It's and
they were
tear
great,
them off. Here, take these 4 tickets. Here's your 4 books. Here's your season tickets for the season. Or we had them as players. I don't know if you remember this. When we had physical tickets, you'd get your 2 tickets in a book. You could hand them out.
I love it.
Here you go. Here's
will call. You had to go get the tickets.
Yeah, you had to leave them at will call. You bring them in, and and give them to the team services guy, and then you leave them on an envelope for somebody at will call.
The
like,
best.
That's how it used
All
to
of
work.
The best. Like, technology's great, technology and stuff, but I think we miss out on stuff like that, man. There's something about a physical ticket.
Yeah.
And seeing it and reading it and having it in your possession, how cool it was.
I guarantee. I bet you, like, for example, Luke winning the Super Bowl, somebody in his family has a Super Bowl ticket, probably a real ticket where they were at the game.
Of course.
And they saved it. Like, that's the keepsake. That's the real cool stuff. Think about it. I used to go to 100 concerts in Edmonton growing up. Like ticket stubs from Metallica, AC/DC, Van Halen, you name it. All
that's
of those.
Right. Yeah,
If you smell what the
Win Wilson
is cooking.
just got hit with that. It sucks when it goes the other way, man. I hate getting hit with the rock music, the Owen Wilson music. Do you have any ticket stubs from when you played in the Super Bowl?
I do. It's I was listening in there, and it's kind of funny timing. This year, I'm trying to become a little more professional at my own at-home setup. So I went home to Windsor, and my mom's got a treasure trove of memorabilia. And she goes, "Why don't you bring up your Super Bowl autograph ball?" And I go, "Man, I forgot about that thing." She goes, "You forgot about it?" And she goes, "Check it out." It was really quite nice, but she had kind of a thing made where one of the tickets from the Super Bowl is also in the frame. So I've got like the team signed ball, and then it's actually quite a nice ticket, as you would imagine.
Yeah.
The tough part is, as I was slipping through, the next year's Super Bowl tickets were also in this treasure trove. And you just see it, and anytime I see that stuff, I just want to puke. You know,
just
it's just
hand
that
the ball
gut-wrenching.
Just give it to Marshawn Lynch.
God, I can't even stand to look at that.
Yeah.
Trust me, Partsy, you get to a point when you get older, you just start looking at stuff, and you're like, I'm glad I kept that.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't want to see it in the living room or in the basement. So what? You just get to a point where you're like, what am I going to do with this?
Totally. The funny one for me is, and this is like the lowest level, but as I was flipping through this, I played in extended spring with the Jays one year, and I wore number 86. And I was like, and I don't tell a ton of people this. Not many people know I was a bit of a baseball guy. So I'm like, what is this? And my mom goes, it's your jersey when you played with the Jays.
You're kidding me.
What? I didn't even know I got to keep this thing. And it's not, again, it's like the lowest level of the minor leagues, the bottom of the basement. So it's not a very high-end
A-ball? Are we talking A-ball
way
here?
Way less. It's below rookie league. It's like the guys that don't get to go to rookie league go to extended
league
spring.
That Manoah went and pitched at? The California, what was that? In Florida.
Yeah. Florida Complex League.
The Complex League.
Yeah, but I'm like, dude, I got my Jays jersey, man. I was pretty jazzed about that.
So you're going Deion Sanders back in the day.
Yeah, except 9 minor league teams below Deion Sanders.
Okay. Well, like I don't know why I had never thought of this, but you played against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Back to back. I remember, Hayes, going into the second Super Bowl, and it was a bit of it was such a different shift because the first one, Peyton in that offense had set every record. They still have a bunch of offensive records, and it was like, man, we're going up against juggernauts. They were loaded, and then the next one, obviously we won that one. Not that Tom Brady wasn't loaded, but, you know, on paper, New England was not as good as Denver. But the whole thought process was, you know, Bill has this team really dialed in. They're extremely well coached, and obviously they're a great football team. So, but I remember going in thinking to myself, like, man, my first 2 years in the league, we're about to knock off Peyton Manning in year 1 in the Super Bowl and Tom in year 2.
Wow. What a legacy, man. What a legacy.
Yeah. And then when we were on the 1 yard line, I also vividly remember being like, we've won. Like, I was in the huddle, and I'm like, dude, we're going to call this goal line play, put Marshawn, I think I've told you guys this, put Marshawn a fullback because we had a goal line play where Marshawn would go to fullback. And I didn't really have to do much. I'm like on the outside, and then we got in the huddle. Well, first the personnel. I'm like, oh, we're not doing that. And then, yeah, we all know what happened. But
man, well, because you see it in the NFL a lot where players will ask, you know, the legends for autographs after a game.
Yeah.
What do you think Peyton Manning would have said if you went up to him after you smoked him in the Super Bowl and asked for like an autographed football or something? You think he would have done it? Or
right after, he probably would have punched me in the head, and rightfully so.
Yes.
Rightfully so.
You go through the trainers, man. You don't go up to the player.
And that's very similar in the NFL. It's like one of those things. If it's like your college buddy or something like that, it's different. But if you're like, hey, I really would like to get this signed by Peyton, that's one of those where you find someone who knows Peyton or like coached him or that Peyton's connected to, and at whatever moment in the future that Peyton decides, if he decides, you will then be given, an autograph, whatever, from Peyton Manning.
Right. Because, Brady famously, I guess, at the end of his career was just signing every day. And those were his teammates coming over saying, hey,
It
rookies.
is awkward. Like when we were winning, it's like you're involved in some local charity or fundraiser or whatever, and it's like, hey, can you go get Russell Wilson to sign this football? And you're like, dude, it's not. It's like there's a different relationship between. I'm not a kid,
Right.
It's like, hey, can you get Marshawn? And I'm like, I used to tell people, and I love Marshawn, and I got a good relationship, but I'm like, absolutely not. There's no world in which I am going up to Marshawn and asking for his autograph. I won't subject myself to that.
What would he say to you?
I can't repeat it on here, but you just immediately become like the butt of the most absurd joke, and probably for the whole week, he's ragging on you about being like, what are you, a fan? Like, oh, like, sure, it's a charity. And Marshawn was quite clever. Again, I love the guy. But he was known, as he still kind of is, for being like aggressively offside in his joking manner. And I'm like, I can't put myself through a week of torment for, like, I'll get you Russ.
Right, Russ.
Doug Baldwin's great.
Yeah.
But now I'm not going to Marshawn.
So
I'm not doing it.
You didn't have the relationship with those guys. Like, you're sitting on the plane with these guys. Like to me, I played with lots of superstars, lots of Hall of Famers. Like Brett Hall comes to mind in St. Louis. Like everywhere we went, Brett Hall was being asked for autographs. And
yes,
I remember we were in Ottawa one time, and there was a bunch of Brett Hall jerseys on the table. So somebody had laid them out, and they said, Holly, can you sign these? Mark Bergevin grabbed one of them and went to Rudy Postchek, our tough guy, and said, hey, can you sign on the 6 really big here? A fan asked me to do that. And so Rudy Postchek signed a Brett Hall jersey, giant. And the fans
ruined the whole thing.
What the hell is it? Berge was dying in the background. But it's like those types of things. Like I feel like if you have a relationship with these people, they'd be like, all right, yeah, I'll sign it for you, whatever you need type of thing. But there's certain guys, I guess, you just don't approach.
Yeah, that was it. And Noodles, I don't know if you ever played with anyone like this, but I would say 90% of the guys like Russ, if you ever asked them to sign anything, immediately, right away, sign. Everybody pretty much, but there's a few guys that they just weren't big autograph guys to begin with. And I think part of it was like there was this world where it's like, hey, if I don't sign anything, my autograph becomes more valuable.
Yeah.
And at that time in Seattle, too, because we were winning, guys were getting paid absurd amounts to be like, hey, show up for an hour and sign autographs. And there was a thought process in the locker room that if you didn't sign anything and your autograph was so exclusive, these appearances would go through the roof.
Yeah.
And I remember, and this is my guy, so I'm not going to actually throw him under the bus here, but I remember the one year in Hawaii, Russ, we had just lost a Super Bowl, and Russ was like, listen, we got to cleanse this thing. I think he was working with Alaska Airlines at the time. He's like, I've got us a flight. Bring your significant other. We're going to spend a week in Hawaii before off-season starts, and we're going to throw the football around, work out, do that whole thing. So we land in Hawaii, and he's got a dinner set up, and it's in a room, but it's kind of open to the public.
He's flipping the bill for all of this?
No. The plane, yes, but the like everything else, you're on your own.
Yeah.
But we get into this room, and everybody's there on our team. And this is not a Marshawn story. Marshawn actually was the one guy that wasn't there. But let's just say a member of the Legion of Boom is in there, and a dad comes in with his kid. And he goes, in the traditional line, he goes, I hate to do this to you, guy. And he's being polite. We all know he's going to ask for an honor. And he's with his kid.
Right.
And this guy stands up and just starts screaming at the dad. Then don't do it then. Then don't do it. And there's like 20
It's the
of us.
classic line, Partsy, when the guy comes up in the middle of dinner and you're eating, he goes, I really hate to bother you while you're eating. It's like, no, you don't, man. You don't hate it that much.
Right, so he's screaming at him, and he's yelling, and he's like, "You're not sorry." And the kid's there, and there's all of us that are awkward. And then, of course, what gets strange is then when the dad turns around with his kid, dejected, Russ steps in and goes, "I'll sign the jersey." And this is off the back of we just threw a pick on the end of the Super Bowl 3 months, whatever, 2.5 months earlier.
Right.
There's a lot of animosity between the defensive guys and Russ and all the offense at this point. We're supposed to be in Hawaii to like bury this hatchet, and that's how the trip started. Let's just say it didn't get much better after that.
No, that's awkward, man. That's really, really awkward. And Russ, of course, steps in. It's like, I'll do it.
Yes.
I'm on my own here. With Luke Wilson ahead of the Thursday Nighter tonight. Before we get to that, Brock Purdy out upwards of 2 to 5 weeks. George Kittle's on the IR. Like, they survived in Seattle. I have no idea how they won that game.
Yeah, Seattle puked. Seattle puked all over themselves. You look at, I will say this, the unsung hero of the Niners-Seahawks game was Robert Saleh.
Yes.
Like, say what you want about Robert Saleh and his time in the Jets, but you look at, I think they held the Seahawks at 3.2 yards per carry, and this is a new offensive line. They got 2 stud backs. Okay, Kubiak, the OC for Seattle, is a run-first guy. And then Sam Darnold was held to 150 passing yards. I want to say 127 of them. It was either 124 or 127 was to JSN. So they basically, one guy caught the football. Robert Saleh had the boys kicking. They obviously had the big turnover late. But I had San Fran in my top 5 kind of flirting around. But, 6, 7, put them in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. I get nervous, and I'm going to float something out here, boys. And I talked about it on Jay last night. If I am Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch right now, I'm giving Mac Jones 1 week. That's it. Because the window is very, very, very narrow for this San Fran team. It's a very thin roster. They have a ton of good players, but it's thin. It's not the teams that had a ton of money to spare in the past. I'm giving Mac Jones 1 week, and if he doesn't look good or if he doesn't find a way to win,
on to the next guy.
No, I'm calling Atlanta right now and being like, what? I don't care what it costs. Give me Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Give me
Purdy's
Kirk Cousins.
Going to return, though, at some point.
They're saying it might be 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And in that division, it's going to be tight. Like, Seattle will be good this year. Arizona, I think, is still 4, but they won last week. Granted, it was against the Saints. But L.A. is really good. They were great last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to come down to 1 or 2 games in that. Most likely 1 game. Guys are going to beat each other. It's a very, very even division. And I just sit there and I'm like, there's not, like, McCaffrey is great and he looked unbelievable in week 1, but he's obviously in the load management world. He's not practicing anymore as much as he was back in the day. He's got the injuries. How long is his body going to hang in there? Personally, I hope it hangs in. I love watching. I hope it hangs in for another 10 years.
Right.
But it's like Trent Williams is 38? Now, he still looked good, but, he's 38 years old. Kittle is getting up there in age, and he's got some injury stuff. The window is this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think they're in tough, man. I really do. Even with a healthy Purdy, I thought they were in tough.
Go get Mac Jones. If Mac Jones, I'm giving Mac a shot for sure.
Yeah.
And even if he looks good and something happens, they lose a tight one, but, hey, he played really well, obviously stick with him. But if he comes out here and lays an egg, I think you gotta call Kirk Cousins.
Well, I mean, that's a story of seemingly every division in the NFC. Maybe the South notwithstanding, where I think Tampa's like a clear-cut favorite there, and I think they end up winning that. But the East, the Commanders are going to be fighting with the Eagles all year. The Eagles have a tough game at Kansas City this week. We'll get to that tomorrow. But it's a big game. Al's brother was texting me earlier that the Commanders haven't won at Lambeau since 1986.
Oh, yeah. No.
And, Green Bay, I thought
Layup pick.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But I thought Green Bay made the biggest statement, arguably the biggest statement of week 1.
Yes,
and it's a short week. I like Green Bay a lot tonight. But I think it's a big win for both teams. Like a big, big, big game this early in the season, considering the jockeying of position that is anticipated.
Totally. And that's what's kind of fun about the NFC this year is I still think Philly is like the clear-cut 1 seed of the NFC I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But you said it. The Commanders are right on their heels. If Philly goes into a little rut, the Commanders are going to be there. And you look at Green Bay, I totally agree. They definitely made the biggest statement last week because it was such a physical beatdown of Detroit, who is a physical team. But Minnesota in that second half looked good. Brian Flores had the defense running all over the place. Now, granted, Caleb Williams missed some throws. There's a lot of questions there. But as we saw last year, it took 15 wins to win that division last year.
Right.
15 wins, and it was week 18 until it was clinched. And I'm not saying that'll happen again, but I'm going to say 14, probably at minimum 14 does it. That's my guess. I shouldn't say minimum, but 13 for sure,
yeah,
14.
13 and 4 for sure, man.
Okay, so it's like if you slip up here, Green Bay, and granted it's a great team, but you're at home, it's a Thursday. I do think you're better than Washington. If you slip up here, it could potentially cost you. It just makes things very, very tough.
Absolutely. There he is. My Partsy, absolutely on fire to start the season. He's seeing the board. He's seeing the moon readings. He's had one of the great off seasons in the history of professional sports preparing for this year. Great to see you, Partsy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I got to address something, though, before we get on to the picks. Something just happened here on the show that made the three of you, maybe I'll even include Luke because he didn't flinch either, look like a couple of old boomers so out of touch with the youth. This man just hit you guys with a 6-7, and not one of you two did one of these. Not one of you two.
A what?
Do any of you three know what that means?
No idea. None.
I got no clue.
Luke, do you know what the 6-7 is all about? Ask your kids. You guys got to ask your kids.
I don't have any kids.
I don't know what it means.
My kid's
but you hit it.
What the hell's he going to do?
Yeah. What are you talking about,
I guarantee you they all know. If you tell them 6-7, they'll all do this to you. 6-7. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. What's the background, though? I'm not going to go ask my kid what we're on the air. What the hell is it? What does it mean?
It's from some song, I guess. I can't remember which rapper it was.
He doesn't even know.
You don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
I don't know. No one knows. I didn't know, and then I had to ask my brother.
Listen,
who's 20 years old.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm completely lost.
Who
said the word 6-7?
We're boomers now, Al's brother, because we don't know some stupid rap song?
That's kind of what it means. I'm telling you. That's what all the kids are doing. Anytime someone says 6-7, it's like 6-7.
Well, I couldn't be happier to be considered a boomer if that's what I'm missing out on. I'm happy to miss out on
favorite part is he's like, all you boomers missed it. You're like, what is it? Well, I really don't know.
Yeah,
okay, well, then you're one too.
I'll be honest.
Talking
the funny
about
part
us,
is,
brother.
This is the first time I've been called a boomer, and I'm pretty hurt right now.
I know. It hurts. It hurts. Anyway, Al's brother, putting that aside, thank you for coming.
I'm just going to let you know there's no way you're making the right pick. Parts of you listen to these guys. They're in shambles.
I think we're on the same page.
I'm scared of where their headspace is at. Kind of hopeful. Like, what do you guys got?
Well, speaking of boomers, like that's all the Washington defense is right now. They're a bunch of boomers that are way too old, way too slow, and they're not going to be able to catch up to this Packers offense. Like, I feel really good, Hazy B, taking your pack tonight, laying the 3. It's a shift back down to 3. For a little bit, it was sitting at 3.5. It's back down to 3.
I thought it was 2.5. Doogie?
If it's 2.5, even better.
Dude.
If it's 2.5, Doogie, go ahead. I looked about 30 minutes ago, and it was back down to 3, and I love it at 3. If it's at 2.5, this is an absolute
It's at
steal.
3 right now on FanDuel.
We're locking it in at 3, boys.
3.
It's 3.
I love it,
Yeah.
dude. We found a half point since we agreed on the Packers hours ago.
Exactly.
I love it, Al's brother. I love it.
And you talk about it, going into Lambeau on a short week, I don't like their chances. Like you mentioned, the Commanders haven't won at Lambeau since 1986.
Irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Who cares? Who cares?
It's
irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant.
First off, the Commanders weren't even a team back then. They were called something else.
Bad mojo.
So,
Bad mojo.
Listen, we don't care about 1986, man. What are you, a boomer? Okay, we care about right now.
That is a boomer
Well,
take.
right now, you look at that Packers offense, and it's clicking. That defense might be even better. They added Micah Parsons. They had 16 pressures on Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions last week. 16 pressures. That's a pretty good offensive line. You got to give them that type of credit, Luke. And if they could do the same thing, pressure Jade Daniels tonight, I believe that he'll kind of scramble a little bit, and they've got the athleticism on defense to keep up with them. I think 3 is an easy cover for the Packers.
I like it. Lock it in. Packers -3. And this is paying a lot of respect to the Commanders because of what they did last year. They deserve it. They beat the Giants, man. The Giants. Okay, Brian Dable and Russ Wilson signing autographs in Hawaii. The Giants are so bad, it doesn't even count. Packers beat the Lions at home and dismantled them. How this line is at 4.5 is beyond me. It makes me almost nervous. Like,
I
what
totally agree.
What does Vegas know or FanDuel know that we don't?
I'll tell you what they know.
Go ahead.
Somebody on Green Bay is going to show up and spit on Jaden Daniels before a snap count.
Yeah, that could be it.
Mike is coming in and is going to spit. He's getting tossed from the game, and this line's going to get a little funky, boys.
I guess you could be onto something. But even Parsons, I think, gets more snaps.
Yeah.
He's
29 last week. He'll probably get into 40s this week.
Big opportunity for them. They're at Cleveland next week, and then at Dallas. And then they hit a bye week. If I'm LaFleur, you don't want to put the cart before the horse, but you should be looking at 4-0 hitting a bye week here. And in order for that to happen, they got to win tonight. I think they win by. I wouldn't be shocked if they won by a touchdown tonight.
I'll be honest. This year, in case you haven't been able to tell, boys, I've decided to really embrace a little more professionalism.
Yes.
Instead of just absolutely running my mouth against you two numpties, if I will, I'm going to be nice about it. All right. So I do think last week you guys made some good picks. I'm being professional about it. I would pick Green Bay. I would. I think it's a layup pick. But my but here would be I do think it'll be tougher this week, this Thursday, than what the Lions presented them. From a film standpoint, I thought the Lions defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, made things way too easy on Jordan Love. I don't expect Dan Quinn to make things so simple and be like, hey, just, we're going to play press man on 3rd and 10. That's not really a thing. That's not really a thing very often. And to not even hide it or disguise it, I don't think the Lions have the back end to do that either, which was a bit surprising.
Partsy, do you think Love is the real deal? Like, do you think it was just an incredible draft at the timing and when they did it with Rodgers still there and to develop him? And do you think it's so worth it and he's going to be that guy?
I think he's got the ability. Like last week, there were some moments in that first half where I was like, holy smokes, this guy's cooking. Like everything he did from a decision standpoint, I thought was spot on, right on it, bam, bam, bam. But then when I went back and kind of replayed it and buzzed it, I'm like, yes, it was great, and he had some great, perfect moments. But I'm telling you, I was like shocked on how basic and simple, Kelvin Shepard, the D coordinator for the Lions, lined up. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. This isn't the Legion. You don't have the lead. I'm not saying they're bad, but it's not the Legion of Boom. Like the Lions' back end is not, some just disgustingly talented secondary. And I'm like, how can you line your guys? Like, I thought he was sewering his own guys, talking about the Lions defensive coordinator. So I think that there'll be a different plan for Jordan Love today. I am very interested to see how he handles that. The other one that's a bit weird, again, I would have went with Green Bay. I'm being honest. I'm being professional. But Deebo Samuel last week looked like he turned the clock back.
Yeah, he looked pretty good at times.
And with Kingsbury and what he's able to do, if we can get Scary Terry going, obviously Jaden Daniel is a dual threat guy. If you can have that gadget guy in Deebo, that can present some problems. So hopefully, for our sake, the Commanders can somehow lose by less than 3 points.
Okay. Yeah, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a good game, like a one-possession game. I just feel like the Packers get it done in the end. And, in terms of defending Green Bay, they don't have like a conventional number one option, certainly not at the wide receiver position. Jacobs is probably their most dangerous offensive weapon outside of Jordan Love, but he didn't do much last week. Is it Golden? Is it going to be Wicks? Is it Reed who's banged up? Is it Dobbs? Watson's not even playing. So they try to spread it out, and if they're all healthy and Love is moving the ball around, that makes it difficult to cover.
Yes.
That's what they're planning on here.
The key is in an offense like that, Hayes, your quarterback needs to take the matchup and take what the defense gives you.
Right.
It's like one of those things where there's kind of two schools of thought in this league. You have your big star, whoever that is, and you say, okay, I'm going to throw to this guy until they shift coverage or they develop this whole plan, and then that should open somebody else out, which clearly the Packers don't go that route. But the key for Jordan Love is, okay, I know the strengths of Golden. I know the strength of Romeo Dobbs. I know the strength of Jaden Reed. Understand the route concept, be able to identify what coverage is going and being like, who is my best option here? And I thought you did a great job that last week. But the onus now falls a lot on Jordan Love more so than the receivers.
Absolutely. All right, the pick's in. Lock it in. Hayes and Bro. Taking the Packers, -3. I love it, Alice, brother. We're rocking, man. We outside of that weather delay, which was completely bogus last week, we're 3-0. We're perfect. Everyone knew the Eagles were going to win that, cover that spread.
Should have been a protest game
anyway. It should have been.
I try and extend an olive branch, talking about professionalism. We had the call of the night Monday night. A rookie quarterback. A rookie quarterback we've never even seen.
Against the Bears, though.
And these guys want to sit here and say there should be 3-0. We get no kudos from these guys.
Yeah. The Bears will
They have no class, that's why.
No class, I agree.
We're a dynasty. Dynasty continues, Al's brother. Great seeing you boys.
Does.
Enjoy the game tonight. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. There they are, Luke Wilson and Al's brother joining us. Hayes and Bro on the Packers. Blue Jays win big today. Gosman pitching a gem. We'll get into that next.
Sunday, Week 2 in the NFL continues as the Dallas Cowboys face off against the New York Giants. A Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and Chiefs. Plus, the Sunday Nighter between the Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, so the Jays won 6-0 this afternoon. That's 2 of 3 against the Astros. That's big. Driver's seat, right? You got 16 games left now. You know, you're 3.5 up on the Yankees, 3.5 up, I believe, on the Red Sox. They'll be playing. But you just keep taking care of business. You win every series, you're through. I mean, clearly, if you win every series the rest of the way, Blue Jays are going to run away with the AL East. But the story of the day is Kevin Gosman, who last time we saw him was at Yankee Stadium last Friday.
He was a stud, wasn't he?
Unbelievable. He went 8 innings, gave up 1 earned, 5 Ks. Today he pitched a complete game, which is that's a unicorn in today's game.
Yeah, it is.
9 innings, gave up 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. And since the All-Star break, he's had 2 bad starts. That's it. He had a bad start against Kansas City. He had a bad start against Miami a couple weeks ago. But this guy's going 7, 8, 9 innings every time out. He's striking out 1 million guys.
He's your first guy up, isn't he?
I think so. I mean, we continue to waver. Like one day it's Bieber, the next it's Scherzer, the next it's Gosman. But for me, if he's pitching like this, yeah, that's my game 1 starter. You know. And it also takes pressure off Bieber, who's coming off Tommy John, new team, trying to find his footing a little bit. Scherzer,
Scherzer grab.
He's you're worried about injuries. He gives up home runs, and how deep can he go in the game? It's uncertain. Gosman, the big story is he shrinks your bullpen the way he's pitching right now, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so massive that he went 9 innings today. Which is a sign of where baseball is, that is a big story. It used to be a formality for a lot of guys, but it's impressive, man. Really impressive.
They took out – who was it they took out yesterday? Was it Barrios they took out? Or who came –
yeah, Barrios was pitching really well.
And they took him out at 5, I think 5 and a bit, wasn't it?
I think his pitch count was getting up there a little bit, but you're right.
They were just worried about what the hell was going to happen after that. It's like, what are we going to do here? Are we going to let this guy implode or not?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Save him a little bit. He's in a good spot. Get him out before maybe it gets away from you. But, yeah, that's 17 innings Gosman's pitched in his last 2 games against really good teams, the Yankees and the Astros. Really big games in the month of September. So, yeah, big win for the Blue Jays.
Well,
that's big.
They are in the driver's seat. Now, I didn't check to see. Detroit plays the Yankees tonight, right?
Yes.
New York,
they're
Yankees,
playing tonight.
Man, if they get dummied
They get pumped again. That's a story.
Yeah.
Needless to say, that's a pretty big story. I think the Red Sox are off tonight.
When the Yankees like to get pumped.
Yeah, it's
when they lose,
screwing around out there, it's hilarious.
They get pumped. Yeah, when they lose, they get pumped. So Jays 3.5 up on the Yankees, 3.5 up on the Red Sox, and 16 games left.
Now the Yankees play the Sox tomorrow.
Yes, they got a series with the Red Sox this weekend. So someone's losing games.
Right.
Boston's right there. We keep focusing on the Yankees naturally because they've been I think consistently better throughout the year, but Boston's right there with them.
Yeah.
So that's a big series just between the two of them. And, there's a chance they end up meeting in the playoffs in the wild card round.
Well, that's the other thing, too. It's good, but it's also bad. Somebody from those teams that are chasing you is getting games this weekend.
Someone's got to
win, have to worry. Yeah, you've got to worry about your games because somebody will be making up games on you if you don't win. So you've got to find a way.
Well, and the Jays have Baltimore, who are, a pesky team that they struggle against this year for some reason.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Everyone's beaten Baltimore this year, and it seems like the Jays are always in for a fight. But, Baltimore in town starting tomorrow. Then they're at Tampa, at Kansas City, their last road trip of the season. Yeah. 4 games at the Trop, or not at the Trop anymore, but down in Tampa, and then 3 against Kansas City. So credit to Gausman. That's just an unbelievable outing. The bullpen's an issue. Don't let him come out. Best way to rectify a bullpen problem,
Exactly.
Don't have him pitch.
And good recognition on him, where he's like, I got to put in a shift here. This isn't the old 5 1/3 and then out.
Right.
It's like, I got to put in a shift for my guys here.
Yep, and he did it. Exactly. He's been great. Since the All-Star break, he's been great. So you got him, you got Bieber, you got Scherzer, you got Bassett's been pretty good. His splits, at least at home, he's been really good. You got a lot of options in the rotation. They're pulling their weight. Bats, for the most part, they came alive today. They're pulling their weight. It's the bullpen. Hoffman last night, it doesn't – even if Hoffman gets out of the 9th clean, maybe they don't win that game. But you would have liked the opportunity for the Bats to come back up in the 9th with a chance to win it or go to extra innings. And maybe you sweep the Astros. But, listen, they responded well today. So credit to the Blue Jays. All right, best bets coming up. I have a 5-pack, Hazy B's list. We haven't done this in a while. I think Thursdays we need to kind of staple this thing.
Get the list going?
I think so. Like coming off last week with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, we've been talking a lot about McDavid.
Yeah.
I got a 5-pack of the players that are seeking a championship, and if they were to get it, it would boost their legacy, more than anyone else. Maybe put them into a different threshold. So we'll come back with a 5-pack. Hazy B's 5-pack. We'll get to our best bets. Tee up the Thursday nighter one more time. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Tonight, Week 2 in the NFL kicks off as Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders take on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, today's best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You know where I'm at. This is where we're all at. Packers laying 3 points. All right, so we're on Green Bay. We're going to lay the points. Josh Jacobs, anytime touchdown scorer tonight. And Jordan Love, 225-plus yards passing. That parlay paying plus 250. Love the Packers. Love the offense tonight. I think it's going to be a fun game. I could see it being a bit of a shootout. I wouldn't be shocked. But Green Bay, Josh Jacobs, anytime touchdown scorer. Jordan Love, 225-plus yards in the air. Best bets powered by FanDuel. Same-game parlays this NFL season now include passing touchdowns and receptions on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 18+, physically located in Ontario. All right. So we got some, Jaden Daniels winning a Super Bowl would be pretty big for his legacy.
Yeah, massive.
Pretty big.
He's not onto that desperation list quite yet, though.
No, he's not quite there where it's like, we got to get one here. Micah Parsons going to Green Bay, helping them win would be significant. Jordan Love, that's Rodgers won one, Favre won one. But in terms of, a legacy leap into a completely different stratosphere in terms of how you view a player, I have a 5-pack of athletes here. And I think desperation's an important word, because all these guys, they've reached the point here where they're desperate for different reasons. All right, you guys ready for this? Hazy B listening here on a Thursday afternoon. Number 5, I have Austin Matthews. Now, the reason I have Austin Matthews is for a variety of reasons. One, if you were to win a Stanley Cup, immediately greatest leap of all time. Some people already have him there. I don't. I think he has to have playoff success. But if he wins a Stanley Cup, I mean, case dismissed.
All over. Yes.
Yeah. Case dismissed. So you're the greatest player in franchise history. Original 6 team, biggest hockey market in the world, could go on and on and on. He's on pace to compete for the greatest goal scorer of all time. Right? That's Ovi right now. But if you win, that means you presume he scored a lot of goals, maybe mixes in a Conn Smythe.
How many goals is Matthews at, by the way?
All time?
Yeah.
He's up over 400. He's going to pass Sundin this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Sundin's at like 420, right?
Yeah, as a leave. And he's going to pass Matt's, I think, by Christmas. And also, on the all-time, greatest American list, would do a pretty significant boost for him. I don't know who that is. Patrick Kane? Is it Chelios? Medano? I don't know who that would be considered right now. Greatest American-born player ever. But if Matthews can do it, that's 3 different areas where he can take a huge leap in terms of saying, I'm here, right? I'm here. Austin Matthews at number 5. Lamar Jackson at number 4. He's already got 2 MVPs. Could have had a 3rd last year. He plays the game at a level that's absurd in terms of numbers, in terms of fantasy, in terms of entertainment, in terms of winning success.
Yeah.
He's got to get a Super Bowl, though, because his playoff performances have really been a struggle. Like, I don't think just winning a couple of playoff games are going to stop that.
Simply not the same guy.
Right.
Exactly. Not the same guy. Where if he wins a Super Bowl, changes the whole viewpoint. The only thing stopping him from launching into all-time great, chatter is playoff success. And a Super Bowl win, I think, would end all that. I really do think you'd start looking at Lamar and talking about Lamar as maybe a top 10 quarterback all time if he can get a Super Bowl win because he's still so young.
Yeah.
Number 3, I got Aaron Judge. I mean, if you're the face of the Yankees for a decade, you have to win. You have to.
Yeah.
And if he wins, I did a SportsCenter hit with Steve Phillips this summer where Steve was saying he might be the greatest hitter in Yankee history. That includes Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
They have Babe Ruth.
DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle, and I can go on and on and on. So if that's the perception, this guy is the greatest talent maybe in Yankee history. He's got to win a World Series. But if he does, that barrier drops, and you're like, look at this guy. Maybe he is. Like maybe he is maybe it's the greatest prime of all time. Like that conversation is there for him. Again, a lot like Lamar, not great in the playoffs. Like Aaron Judge's numbers, not great in the playoffs. So needs a World Series, I think, to drop that barrier. Number 2, Josh Allen. In many ways, a lot like what I said about Lamar. I think if Allen wins a Super Bowl, because it's in Buffalo, because they went to 4 straight and couldn't get it done, like Mahomes is already.
Just that element there, Hayes. 4 straight
right.
and no wins to put them over the hump and say, here it is for you folks.
Exactly.
That's
massive.
hanging over your head.
Huge.
That's hanging over your head.
And when Kelly left until he arrived, there was nothing, man. It was a wasteland down in Buffalo for the most part. And again, Mahomes, because he's won and he deserves it, is already in Mount Rushmore conversations. Maybe he's the greatest QB ever. Maybe it's Brady. Maybe it's Manning. I think Allen wins a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. We start talking about him in a similar fashion. Like maybe he's greater than Mahomes. Maybe he's the greatest talent we've ever seen. I really think it's possible for him. The way he throws, the way he plays.
So you're trashing Brady and just throwing him out the window.
It's not about trashing.
No, I know. You just move on to the next thing. It's crazy how you do that.
Out of sight, out of mind. He's just like, get the hell out of here.
I'm just saying, a win, a Super Bowl launches him into it's a legacy leap. That's the whole nature of what we're talking about.
But don't forget about the pictures with Brady holding up all the rings.
I know that. Maybe he needs more than one Super Bowl to get into that conversation. But with Mahomes, it's always the most talented ever. Well, Allen, I think, is as talented. It just he hasn't been able to win the big game, so that kind of holds him back a little bit. And I think if he wins a Super Bowl with Buffalo, which I believe he will, I think it's going to happen this year. I think the door's open for Allen to storm into the top 10 all time, maybe top 5, and start having those chats. Yeah. And number 1, you guys know who it is, Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid at number 1.
Just for his pursuit alone.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
2 years in a row, you've made it to the finals. Like, I was going to say, like, Allen losing to the same quarterback 4 times is in the same stratosphere because McDavid's lost to the same team twice. It's just McDavid is more – this is awful to say, but McDavid is maybe even more special than Josh Allen is in their sport.
Oh, I think he is.
I never know.
No, I think he is.
Hayes thinks Allen is more special.
Listen, I don't think Allen's far off. I love McDavid's McDavid, man. He's the best player in the world.
Didn't you say the other day that Josh Allen's the most entertaining player?
Most electric athlete. Yeah, most
and I stand by that all day, man. Right. All day. McDavid might be second. It's not like I wouldn't have him in my top 10. But a championship for McDavid, a Stanley Cup in its prime, that's why I've just been reluctant to get there with everyone. Most evolved ever, most talent. I'm sorry, you got to win, man. Like, you got to win to get into the conversation with Gretzky, with Lemieux, with Orr, with Sid. Like, they all won. They all won a lot. And I think he's got to get one. And if he does, then it just, for me, he's at the table, and then all bets are off in terms of which way you want to see it.
What if he wins Olympic gold? That type of stuff.
They all have that too, man. 87 Canada Cup, the 2010, 2014 for Sid. And guess what? Sid's going to win it too.
Yeah.
Like if McDavid wins it, what happens if Sid's the best player on that team and they win gold? How do we remember it? Was it McDavid's first goal or was it Sid's third?
It could be both. It's not just it's just one.
I know, but I'm saying like the face
on how it ends.
Yeah,
it depends who does the damage, Hayes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, at Four Nations, that was the golden goal.
Got to get there. There's some other teams that are going to be pretty damn good.
Canada's going to be fine. I got no concerns about Canada.
Do you think they're a lock to win gold this year?
I think they're pretty close to it. Yeah, I do. I feel real good about Canada.
Noodles is going to grill you on that.
Real good. Who's beating them? The Americans? What are the Kachucks going to fight somebody at center ice? And what are they going to do?
It's not what I'm saying is it just that U.S. team is pretty stacked too, and
pretty stacked.
Like so is Canada, but I'm just
don't win anything. Americans never win the big game.
Well, there's always a first for everything, right?
Yes, there is.
You're just saying that Austin Matthews could win. What if Austin Matthews goes as dominates and tears apart that?
Unfortunately, I wish this weren't true, but Matthews' reputation is that he hasn't won.
Right.
That's just a fact.
Well, we were just talking about it. He just was fit.
Hellebuck hasn't won.
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about, could Hellebuck be the best American of all time player? He's got 3 Vezinas.
Better be better. He's got to be better in the playoffs, though, doesn't he, Noodles?
That's fair.
When you say there's guys like Hellebuck and Matthews, Hayes, when you say not one, like they really haven't won.
Have not won anything.
Yes.
Literally nothing.
Like, not even like get close to the finish line or any of it.
Nope,
there's all not getting it done like finals McDavid.
Yeah.
And then there's like nothing close.
Well, and who's their number 1 defenseman?
Where?
For the U.S. Probably Quinn Hughes. What's he won?
It'll be Quinn Hughes for
What's
sure.
he won? What's he
Nothing.
won? Nothing.
No, nothing.
Hasn't won anything.
No.
So, anyway.
Well, winning it. Listen, we're going to have lots of Olympic chat here. We got till February to chat.
I'm waving the flag, man. I love Canada at the Olympic Games.
It sucks that Russia won't be in it. I think Russia would be a hell of a
team,
too.
Yeah. Obviously they would be, but that ship has sailed for now. They're not going to be there in 2026.
Yeah. Maybe next month.
All right, there you go. Hazy B's list. Hazy B listing.
Pretty good list. Lots of
they're all great players.
I love it on a Thursday.
It's a good spot. I think it settles in beautifully. So every Thursday, lock it in.
Yeah, and if me and Noodles have a list that maybe we approach you with during the day and say, "What do you think about this for tonight?"
He'll flush it down the toilet.
No, we could still use the headline Hazy's list, but one of us can jump in with our own once in a while.
I love that idea. I'm always looking to. This is a tag team, dude. I'll get over there. It's not. Let's get it done. Yeah. You guys.
It's got to be called Hazy's list, but we can jump in once in a while.
We can chip in. I'm fine with that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's chip in. All right, boys. Thursday nighter tonight. Jays with a big win today. Big win today. And big series coming up starting tomorrow. So we'll start teeing that up tomorrow. We've got the NFL weekend coming up. We'll be coming off the Thursday nighter. It's going to be a great one tomorrow. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, up on YouTube, live on TSN's YouTube channel. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.